first video that I uploaded on the channel was learning all about Hollow Knight lore to get into Silksong, right? So I figured it would be fun to do the same thing for Pokemon XY because, you know, one, it's been so long since I've played. I don't really remember what happened in the story. And I mean, Pokemon isn't like that super crazy when it comes to lore. I mean, not nearly like as good and as in-depth as like Hollow Knight in comparison, right? But I thought it would be nice to have like a little refresher. The one thing that I remembered from Pokemon XY was the whole deal with the guy with the long hair. I forgot his name. And where he goes, the meme where it's like, it's been 5,000 years or whatever. And then he had that little flower. And then instead of doing just lore, I'd also like to watch a video that's like talking about X and Y and how the game was overall. Because I do want to compare it to like what they're trying to do in Pokémon Legends ZA. It's called Were Pokemon X and Y That Bad? Somebody said it earlier in the chat, but this game wasn't like totally loved, I guess, when it came out. Like, and nobody was saying like X and Y was like their favorite, right? I feel like when people talk about their favorite Pokemon game, very rarely do people say X and Y. I feel like it's normally Black and White, Diamond and Pearl, Emerald, like everything from that era back, I feel is like what's most people's favorite. People like Megas, that's kind of, yeah, exactly. Megas were like an awesome addition, and the fashion and character customization was super fun in this game. But besides that, I feel like there wasn't, like, the actual gameplay itself, I guess, was not so engaging. So I don't know. I want to watch a video that reminds me why. Or maybe it's hated on for no reason. Maybe it's forgettable for no reason. Maybe it's good, but you just forgot.
The Pokemon fanbase is in a weird place right now when it comes to the Kalos region. On one hand, Pokemon Legends ZA is on the horizon and fans are incredibly hyped for Kalos. And on the other hand, the Game Freak Terra leak exposed just how much content we really lost from the Kalos region, leaving many fans feeling overwhelmingly disappointed with the games that we have. So
wait, how long ago was this posted? Oh, this is 8 months ago. Okay.
About a month ago, I decided to begin replaying Pokemon X. Partly just to refresh myself in the Kalos region lore before we go back in a few months, but also because I've been a pretty outspoken critic of Kalos in the past, and these leaks had me feeling a similar type of way. I just feel like for years there's been this cloud
oh my god,
of
jump
what
flesh
could have
jump
been
scare
shrouding the Kalos region, and after seeing
jump
the
scare
leaks and that half the content that was planned for that game ended up getting scrapped, well, it just made things all more disheartening.
I am still curious as to why we never got Pokemon Z. Like, why did it take so long? And why was that scrapped? Because if they had so much, you may as well have just gone through with it, no?
But I don't want to think about the Kalos that we could have had. What about the Kalos that we did get? Does it hold up today? Let's find out. Starting off, I just want to say the strongest aspect of Pokemon X and Y is in its presentation. It's amazing that these games came out close to 12 years ago, and yet they still look and play like new. The character models, both in the overworld and in battle, look incredibly satisfying and sleek. The Pokemon models have this nice cell shading effect that is always going to look good.
Okay,
the
okay.
battle backgrounds are detailed.
No, wait.
Have this
Roll it
nice
back.
Cell shading effect.
Oh my god, sorry, Psyduck. I don't mean to do an instant replay on you getting exploded. How do I say this? I've always really loved the pixel style that Pokemon had. And I have a preference to that, right? I've always said that it would be my dream for Pokemon to go back and do like a 2.5D style game, correct? But I will say that this art style that they went for here, like cell shaded kind of style, I really liked it. I remember for its time, I felt like it was really good. And I really don't like how Pokemon games have kind of smoothed out. And I mean, this is all like, you know, you could have like different opinions on this, but for me personally, I kind of like how it looks, you know, with the black outlines. But then they started taking out the outlines, and then I don't know. I'm not like 100% into it, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't really like the presentation of the new Legends game so much. And I think it was because of that.
Years ago, and yet they still look and play like new. The character models, both in the overworld
yeah,
and in battle,
it feels
look incredibly
flat,
satisfying and sleek.
This is key. Look at this fucking thing. I love this. Like, even though it looks, you know, obviously it has like older graphics, I still feel like this has like so much charm. It feels like it has like, I don't know how to explain it.
This nice cell shading effect that is always going to look good.
I do also really, I really like the chibi style a lot for the main characters, like for the actual people, not the Pokemon, but the people.
The battle backgrounds are detailed and immersive. The camera
I
is
wish they would have
utilized
stayed with
to its
that.
utmost potential. I'm genuinely so surprised that with this being the first fully 3D Pokemon game that they went as hard with the camera as they did. Yes, they definitely got some experimentation in black and white with areas like Sky Arrow Bridge and the Royal Unova, but I don't think any game since X and Y has played around with it so much. This is sort of a
I do also miss the camera angles like that. I feel it was really nice. Yeah, I look at this and I feel like the plastic was such a good word. Because it looks like plastic. And I'm not a big fan of that.
consequence of the full camera control that games like Scarlet and
Like, this small, like, movement towards minimalism in general, I have just hated so much. I want to go back to more detailed stuff, you know? Like,
Violet and Legends Arceus have. While it's a fantastic feature for an open world game, I feel like it makes the game have less overall intentional direction and big wow moments that grab your attention. So many areas in X and Y are designed around these cool moments with the camera that I really didn't appreciate the first couple of times I played these games. Even a small city like Dendemil Town that really doesn't have anything to offer in terms of story or team building is still a somewhat memorable location because of the cool camera tricks they use.
Yeah, this is so cool.
The same goes for Route 19 with the
I would genuinely prefer to have a Pokemon Z come out in this exact style than in the style of ZA.
camera zooming all the way out to look over the massive
Maybe that's controversial.
gorges
I don't
across
know.
the bridge.
I don't
or
know.
Route 8 where the camera switches to an overhead position and let you see all the way down to the bottom of the cliffs below. Even most of the gyms, while they don't have particularly difficult or inspired puzzles like in previous games, most gyms are designed with the sole purpose of simply looking as cool as possible. Grant's gym is a fantastic example of this approach.
Oh,
and
I remember
wouldn't
this
work in a
gym.
2D setting. Even Valerie's gym, which has one of the least interesting puzzles, essentially just
One of my
being a
favorite gym
reskin of
leaders.
Sabrina's gym, sells itself as something cool and new because the camera is able to zoom out, revealing that you're basically traversing a massive dollhouse. The only gym that still massively disappointed me on my replay was Clement's gym. It is amazing to me how they took the Eiffel Tower and turned it into the most uninspired gym in the entire game. That is a special level of talent right there. I was taking notes as I played the game, both positive and negative, and so many times I wrote down how impressive the camera angles were in the game. Even in games like Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield that had fixed cameras, they
Yeah, I really love Sun and Moon's style. I really loved it. Even though I said I prefer like the chibi avatars, I feel like if you're gonna go more like not chibi, I guess, like that kind of like full scale, I feel like this is like the style that you do it in. And I feel like Pokemon understands that, and they kind of try to like copy that while still trying to like create something new. I feel like, I don't know, man, if it ain't broke,
did not
don't
go
fix it.
nearly as hard as X and Y did. And it works because X and Y have this prevalent theme of fashion and flashiness. Trainer customization is a feature that we were all begging for that was finally introduced here, and despite multiple iterations since then, I still think X and Y has some of the best drip. Yeah, those Spanish kids who have school and homework due tomorrow, yeah, no drip. They do not compare. Even if it
It's
does
true.
lack a substantial amount of male hairstyles, that part has always been a bit of
What? The guys only had 4 different hair options? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Because that is absurd. I would not, I mean, I always played as a girl character. I could not imagine having only 4 hairstyles. Although, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard that is like a common complaint with guys and video games in general with character customization is that the hair never looks cool. There's no variety with the hair or beards or anything. I do feel there should be more equality with male character customization.
Roller skates take a traditional Pokemon world and turn traversal on its head, with new cool tricks to unlock allowing you to zip around with a satisfying amount of slide to your step. Even the UI of the game feels stylish and satisfying, with big, colorful bottom screen buttons that jiggle when you press them. If it rains in battle, the raindrops actually show up on the bottom screen buttons. There's
Oh,
a
I
lot
forgot
of cool
about
attention
that.
to detail.
Yeah.
Again, comparing it to new games like Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield that have UI so bland they make me want to wash my eyeballs out with toilet water,
It's true. Again, this has to go with like the minimalism that all these companies are trying to fucking push now.
realize just how
Drives you
well
up a
these
wall.
games have aged. Scarlet and Violet came out in 2022, and they looked bad in 2021. Somehow, these games from 2013
You're so right. Fuck, I hate that you're right.
are still so
I hate that you're right.
nice to look at. Even the 3D models of the Pokemon, I know that these ended up catching a lot of flack later in time for how dull and static they look.
No, but this
few
is
of the Pokemon
that
are
interesting.
very
I
animated,
still
but
remember that.
For a game on
That
the
was
3DS,
iconic.
I don't particularly mind that. I think the small movements they do are appropriate for a handheld system. It's just that when we got to Generation 8 and the exact same models and animations were still being used all those years later on the Switch, that's when people started taking issue with them. But solely for their first time, they look good. On the note of presentation, the other area...
I feel like the Pokemon models in, what game was this? Sword and Shield? This actually looks good. I actually really liked it. I like how this looks, but I wish they would also go more ham on, like, animations. Which, I don't know, maybe that won't be as much of an issue with the new game since it's not going to be turn-based this time. So they kind of can't, like, stand still. So I don't know. Sword and Shield holds up very well compared to Scarlet and Violet. Dare I say, I think Sword and Shield looks better than Scarlet and Violet. I bought my Switch 2 recently, and I already talked about this, but I opened up Pokemon Violet, and, you know, it boasted about having better performance on the Switch 2, like, that was a big selling point, right? Dude, the textures, man. And I know, like, people complain about the textures in Sword and Shield, but I feel like it was just so much worse in Scarlet and Violet. Like, borderline I can't believe I played the game. Genuinely. I can't believe how I played the game looking at that god-awful environment the whole time. I want to go back to what we had in Sword and Shield. You never realize how good we have it until Pokemon makes another game and then, like, disappoints you again. Holy shit. Because I remember Sun and Moon came out, and at the time, I remember people not really being impressed with Sun and Moon. Like, what do you mean they're taking out the gyms? What do you mean? And people thought it was so whatever. But looking back on it, like, they should have kept going with what they were doing because that shit was so fucking good. That shit was so fucking good. Sun and Moon was, like, peak, and I don't think anybody realized it. Nobody realized it.
Used all those years later.
You don't realize until they make the next game, and you're like, oh crap, I missed this.
But solely for their first time, they look good. On the note of presentation, the other area that I think Kalos excels in is, well, Kalos itself. Despite my negative thoughts surrounding X and Y in the past, I have always held the region of Kalos in high regard for its fantastic design. I previously ranked it as the 4th best region in my Ranking Every Region video from a few years back, and honestly, I would like to amend that. I think Kalos, judged purely off of its geography and Pokemon variety, is probably the 2nd best region, or arguably even the best, but I will always have a soft spot for Hoenn. I think Hoenn...
Oh yeah, this game was really good. That one was really, really good. My brain was, like, exploded the first time I played this one.
Exploration better than any other region, even if the dex isn't the greatest. But man, Kalos really does have it all. Like Unova before it, Kalos manages to fit almost every biome imaginable into one region and somehow makes it all feel incredibly natural at the same time. Despite the loss of seasons from Gen 5, which I still think is a massive L, one of my favorite stretches of this game is from the second visit to Lumiose City up through the autumn routes into the...
Oh, and sorry, quick note here.
Of this game is from the second visit to Lumiose City.
One thing that I really enjoyed from X and Y is, like, not having just the one rival. Like, yeah, you have, like, your main kind of rival, but I liked having a group of people that, like, you would travel with because it made the world feel more lived in. And it gave a slightly different experience. Because, I mean, you know, Pokemon, you know, they kind of have the same format, and nothing's wrong with that. But I liked having, like, a little different group of people, and I wish they would experiment more with that. And, I don't know, go into, like, their stories more. Because I remember this was really fun, but I feel like their stories they didn't go into it too much.
Up through the autumn
I would love to see that
into
more.
The snowy tundra, and back down into a spring-like valley with sprouting flowers everywhere. The game does a fantastic job of artificially making it seem like time is passing around you. And even though I would still rather have seasons back from the Unova games, I enjoyed the effect that they were able to pull off here. Also, on the note of the autumn route, specifically Route 15, I love how this route is designed. There's some branching paths with opportunities to find items hidden in the leaves, but sometimes there are trainers hidden in the leaves too, so you never really know what you're gonna get. You know, like when you pour milk into your cereal but it comes out as glue. It's nice to keep you on your toes. Oh no! But more broadly speaking, the Kalos region kind of feels like a perfect hybrid of Pokemon embracing this new 3D world design with some cool off-the-grid features,
that's a you problem.
but also sticking with the 2D puzzles that the series had become so known for. You still have ledges and strength boulders blocking your path, you still have the ice sliding puzzles in the Frost Cavern, and side note, I love that like Unova, Kalos does not overuse HMs at all. And additionally, you have new puzzles that would only work in this type of world. Like the strong winds in the Badlands that limit your mobility, but using the roller skates and the various rail setup, you can escape situations where wild Pokemon corner you. I enjoy that this game has areas with puzzles that make you feel like you're playing the game outside of just battling. It's something that newer regions have severely lacked as they've gotten more into open world design. Again, not saying that open world is bad or anything, it just has some trade-offs with the old style. I don't think it's objectively better like a lot of people claim.
I hate how the battles look here. I hate this. I like having the cinematic camera. I hate this.
Kalos also has some amazing variety. It's impressive how 12 years later, we still haven't had a regional Pokédex larger than this one. With 450 Pokemon total, it is the dex to beat. When these games first came out, the small number of brand new Pokemon, excluding Mega Evolutions only being 72, definitely disappointed me, but when you go back and replay it, especially when you're Nuzlocking and don't really care what gen your Pokemon are from, the lack of new Pokemon isn't as bothersome. I'm just glad the dex overall is massive. One of the reasons why I hate Diamond and Pearl so much is that you fight trainers with the same teams of Pokemon over and over and over again, and encounter the same 4 Pokemon on every route again and again and again.
Okay, that's true.
You can just assume that every hiker in the game is carrying a Geodude, an Onix,
okay, that's true. I love that game, but that's true.
In X and Y, despite playing these games numerous times, I'm still surprised at the Pokemon that random average Joe NPCs whip out. No two battles in this game feel exactly the same, which is important for a 20+ hour long experience. Although, here is where I'm going to get into my first major criticism of these games, and that is, the dex is so large and wonderful, and yet the game is constantly nudging you towards using certain Pokemon. Like, okay, everyone has their Kalos starter by default, but then, hey, have this Kanto starter with a Mega Stone. Hey, have this Mystery Gift Torchic with Speed Boost and a Mega Stone. Hey, have this Lucario with a Mega Stone. Hey, have this Lapras, and before you know it, it feels like 5 members of the team have been chosen for you. Now, that didn't happen to me because I am a free thinker and I don't need busted Pokemon to beat a children's game, and I also Nuzlocked it, but I do distinctly remember this happening.
Oh, okay, damn! What the I'm not fucking stupid like you. Holy
all
shit.
Of my friends back in
this guy's
school,
brutal.
Somehow, despite the game's absurdly
yeah,
good
we got a
variety,
badass over here.
almost everyone ended up with the exact same teams. There is literally no incentive to not use these incredibly broken Pokemon.
That is true.
And as a result, I feel like I see more team variety in Black and White, a game with a Pokédex a third of the size of this one. Because the options presented to the player in Gen 5 are so much more balanced than they are here.
It's true. I know everybody and their mama had a Sylveon.
Speaking of balance, that is another area that this game struggles with on a much broader scale. Not only is the team building unbalanced, but the game is also just so laughably easy. Unfortunately, with the exception of games like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and Legends Arceus though, this appears to have become the post-Gen 6 norm. And no, it's not just because I'm older now, I can go back and play Emerald and Black 2 and White 2 and struggle a decent amount. And Masuda even said that they intentionally decided to make these games easier because kids would rather spend more time playing smartphone games if they get stuck. Ignoring why I think that statement is damaging for all players, let's discuss some further issues that the game has with balancing its own mechanics, in particular, Mega Evolution.
Easy solution to this? Have a difficulty slider. How hard is that to make? Come on, dude.
These games somehow give you way too much access to it, and also too little at the same time. It's kinda weird. For being the first big gimmick and selling point of these games, Mega Evolution is almost completely absent from the main campaign. Outside of the tutorial battle against Karina, you only battle 2 NPCs during the main campaign who use Mega Evolution, like—
Actually, I was thinking about that the other day. Pokemon needs to make a built-in Nuzlocke mode with like really hyper customizable difficulty sliders. Pokemon loves to crack down on emulators, on mods and things like that, but they will do everything except give the community what they want. They could easily avoid these issues by, one, making sure that all of their games are ported over to their current consoles, right? Like naturally, so because you know some games get lost to time because it just doesn't work on any current console, you know. And also just, yeah, I don't know, Nuzlocke, like a difficulty slider mode, like that's something that is so core to the Nuzlocke community. If you, or not the Nuzlocke community, the Pokemon community. If you play Pokemon, you know about Nuzlocks, or you've at least heard of them. and probably have watched at least one video on YouTube about a Nuzlocke. But that requires work. Nintendo hates giving people what they want, dude. Or it drives me crazy because it's like you could print money. You could fucking print money doing this. Just port the game. Like, it's not that hard, man. It's not.
And Diantha. Meanwhile, you're also limited to a small handful of Megastones you can get in the main story, yet...
Yeah, highest media franchise in the world, by the way. Biggest game series in the world, by the way.
You were also outright given 2 Megas in your Kanto starter and Lucario, the latter of the two being one of the most broken in the entire game.
Yeah, it costs money, though.
The only Megas
but, like, is Nintendo out of money? Curious.
Available to you for the whole main campaign are your starter, Lucario, Gengar, Ampharos, Aerodactyl, Abomasnow, and the event Blaze.
The Megas were so cool.
That's 7 out of 30 Mega Evolutions.
They never should have gotten rid of Megas. Every gen should have new Megas.
A few more usable in the main story. But at the same time, to strike a better balance, have the NPCs use the remaining ones that you can't get in the main story. I don't know, it could have been like 15 for you, 15 for all of your foes. Not 7 for you, 2 for enemies, and all the rest just become lackluster post-game material. On that note, let's transition to the plot of the game, because Mega Evolution is the basis of the plot, at least in the beginning. The whole first half of the game is spent trying to find out this grandiose secret behind Mega Evolution, something that ends up quite literally being very out in the open and kinda tourist trappy later on. So right off the bat, there's this weird scenario where Mega Evolution is super mysterious and hardly anybody knows about it, and yet it's like so in your face that I don't know how everyone doesn't know about it. Do these people not have access to Google? And because there's really only
another thing that really bothers me about Pokemon in general, this ended up being a critique, my god. Another thing that bothers me in general is just like the lack of like really cool lore they could be like putting into their stories. They have so much to work with, and I know like they tease some stuff here and there, right? But I feel like they could be doing so much more and kind of fleshing out the world, and I feel it just kind of falls flat. Or like how I mentioned earlier, it gets really good, you get some cool info, but only at the end of the game. Like, I wish Pokemon could be a better paced game that keeps you invested at each part. And not feel like, okay, let me push through this, and then when I get to the end, this happens. I don't know.
One beat to the Mega Evolution plotline, that being you obtaining the Mega Ring in Shalor City, the beginning part of this game drags hard on a replay. Not just from a story aspect, as it's filled with a series of monotonous tasks like chasing a Furfrou around a garden and checking out a small mining cave for no reason, but also in terms of pacing. Why does it take 5 godforsaken hours just to get to the second gym? It's just a weird slog for a game that is otherwise pretty conscious of the player's time. In retrospect, the EXP share change is a godsend. I didn't like it much as a kid, but as a busy adult who has a job and videos to make, it made replaying the game so much less tedious. And if I ever approached the level cap, I could just turn it off. You know, a great feature that Game Freak took away from us. Anyway, refocusing the story, once you obtain the Mega Ring, the story just kinda goes dark for a bit. There's a few Team Flare encounters along the way, but really none of it builds towards the final confrontation until Lysander is like, hey guys, I'm gonna fire a massive laser at the Earth and the last person standing gets $5 billion! And that's something that happens a lot in this game. It feels like plot points like AZ and Floette, Lysander's plan, and even the legendary Pokemon just pop up out of thin air without much explanation. It's a rather unsatisfying regression from Black and White in that regard, where everything felt so much more cohesive. And it's even more frustrating considering how many opportunities the story has to present meaningful information, and it just doesn't. I have never played a game where there is so much dialogue, and yet the characters have nothing of note to say. The rivals are flat as a board in this game, and they show up countless times just to yap on
exactly
about
what I
things
was
that
saying before.
Nobody cares about. And it's not just them. Cena, Dexio, Diantha, Sycamore. Nobody feels like they add anything to the story. Lysander basically says that he plans to kill everybody in front of Sycamore in his cafe after the 5th gym, and Sycamore just says, wow, isn't Lysander so interesting? No, bro, he's crashing out at the club. Homie needs your help. These games even feature an Elite Four member who is a member of Team Flare and a news reporter, and they do nothing of interest with it. They set themselves up for a fantastic media manipulation storyline with Malva and the Holocaster. It was right there in front of their faces, and they just didn't do anything. The story is also, dare I say, kinda stupid. There's a whole hour-long video on YouTube talking about how X and Y's themes are a bit of a contradiction, and I highly recommend you go watch that. It's a fantastic video. But to summarize, basically, after the Mega Evolution plotline ends at the halfway mark, it really only serves as a reminder of this theme of limited resources and how people have to fight to get things they want, and this is supposed to justify Lysander's plan to wipe the slate clean. But later on, everything is just hunky-dory. Serena gets her own Mega Ring in the postgame. Lysander himself, the guy preaching about limited energy and Mega Rings, is himself a user of Mega Evolution. Nobody ever suffers from a resource crisis of any kind. You see what I mean? Lysander, his plan, and the theme of resource scarcity exists in a bubble separate from what's actually happening in the games. Heck, Lysander himself seems to exist in a bubble separate from his own team. Save for a couple of very minor missable lines of dialogue, nobody in Team Flare seems remotely aware of his plan. And like I mentioned earlier, it kinda comes out of nowhere. I respect that this game tries to tell a compelling story, and there are some strong points. I think AZ's story with Floette, as random and tacked on as it feels, is written quite beautifully. And Lysander himself does have genuine moments of humanity that I enjoy. I think it makes him far more interesting than most Pokemon villains. It's not as goofy or ham-fisted of a narrative as Pokemon Sword and Shield, but it feels like a story that's trying to say a lot while simultaneously saying nothing at all. So it just falls into this weird middle ground that makes you go, okay, why did I have to click A through all of those text boxes? I know, it's Pokemon, writing and storytelling isn't the draw of the game, but if you insist on having so much story in the game, at least tie it together at the end, sheesh. It also has the same problem that the Gen 3 and Gen 4 games had in my opinion, that being that the plot peaks way too early. Black and White kinda nailed it, tying up all the storylines together at the bottom of the 9th. And while Black 2 and White 2 backed at the Team
I need to
Plasma
replay this
storyline
game
a little bit, it still wasn't too far away from the Pokemon League and the actual ending of the game. X and Y has such a cinematic and climactic storyline that feels like it ends whole hours away.
I never
from the
actually
actual
finished
ending of the
Black
game.
2. I don't even
Plus,
think I
it doesn't
started
help
it.
that this game has one of the
I
most
feel I'm missing out.
underwhelming Elite Fours and champions in the entire series. And as a result, the last stretch of the game feels a lot like the beginning. Just dull. If I were to describe X and Y as a sandwich, the middle of the game from Solage City all the way to Anastar City is this massive, juicy, delicious burger, but it's surrounded by two of the most bland, small, gluten-free slices of bread. On the surface, X and Y are completely fine games. The region is fantastic, the presentation is immaculate and leaves a lasting impression for the entire playtime. The gameplay, while suffering a few speed bumps, is still incredibly fun. Especially with features like Super Training, Pokemon and Me, and more tacked on top that I didn't even get the chance to talk about until now. It still had the greatest online of any Pokemon game. The PSS was fantastic. And if you're just now experiencing X and Y for the first time, then I genuinely feel bad that you couldn't be there for the game's peak online experience. And the game even streamlines previously tedious features like breeding and shiny hunting to add hours of content even after you've entered the Hall of Fame. I only wish X and Y had this same amount of depth across the board. Some areas of the game, like Lumio City, feel so grandiose and fleshed out, and others feel like a kiddie pool. There are lots of signs of unfinished work in this entire region. Like Sky Battles, the concept seems kind of weird and out there, and
Oh my
you're
god,
like,
I forgot
why
about
is
that.
this even here? And then the leaks say that Soaring was originally going to be a Kalos feature and not an Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire feature, and it just makes you sit back and go, man, it's the most frustrating part
Dude,
of
that would have been
Kalos.
so
What we
good.
got was a solid Pokemon experience, but what we could have had was the best Pokemon experience. if the game actually had that extra year of development time. In all honesty, they were probably pushed out early because the 3DS had already been out for 2.5 years, and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company knew that this would be a massive system seller, and they got what they wanted at a price. And honestly, if you don't mind things like a story that drags, characters that are less interesting than sandpaper, and a few missing things here and there like Pokemon contests, I really wish that Rhyhorn racing minigame from the leaks was there, then you might see it as one of the most solid Pokemon experiences. Despite how much complaining and nitpicking I did in the
it does make me wonder how much of this cut content might potentially be in the new game.
Replay of X and Y. It can be frustrating to see some of the areas where they came up short, but the game is still incredibly well polished. And it feels like more of a complete package than a lot of the newer Pokemon games. I used to rank X and Y as one of the worst games, but now I'd say they're like a solid B+ tier. They're not perfect, but they were fresh and ambitious titles that I would say have honestly influenced modern Pokemon more than any other games have. And on that note, I feel properly hyped for Legends ZA, even if I am moderately disappointed that it's only taking place in Lumio City and not the entire region.
Oh my god, that's right.
So dearly. I just hope that it's able to do justice to a region that deserved so much more.
Dude, how is that?
Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Has the Kalos...
That was a good video. I need to rewatch the ZA trailer, and I think we will now. But like, man, how is that gonna work? Being in just one area the whole time. Yeah, opposite vibes of Legends Arceus. Yeah, and it's such a shame because I feel like X and Y did have a lot of pretty environments, and we're not gonna get to see that in the new one. It's sad, dude. It's sad. That was an interesting video. Man, dude, I really don't want this new one to flop. I hope it has a lot of cool content. Flying would have been insane in that game. Holy. I do feel like X and Y had like such a good base, but I guess because it was rushed, it just didn't work out. I don't know. Pokemon, the flower Pokemon. The Pokemon that was given eternal life. Listen, one who will face Lysandra. A terribly long time ago. There was a man and a Pokemon. He loved that Pokemon very much. A war began. Dude, the man's beloved Pokemon took part in the war. Dude, this art looks so cool. Several years passed. He was given a tiny box. The man wanted to bring the Pokemon back, no matter what it took. The man built a machine to give it life. Bro tried to cheat life and still ended up alive. Holy. He brought his beloved Pokemon back. The man had suffered too much. His rage still had not subsided. Bro just needs to revive. He could not forgive the world that had hurt the Pokemon he loved. He turned the machine into the ultimate weapon. Is it just me? Sorry to pause here, but is it just me, or am I the only one who gets annoyed when they bring up the ultimate weapon in like every fucking Pokemon theory lore video? I swear to God, they'll see like a little circle area and be like, "Hey, this is actually where potentially the ultimate weapon could have been." I've seen too many of these. It's the crumb of lore that we have. The man became a bringer of destruction that ended the war. Invented a nuke. The Pokemon that was given life must have known. That the lives of many Pokemon were taken to restore its life. The resurrected Pokemon left the man. Oh, No, hold on. Let me not talk. Let me wait. Imagine you resurrect one of your most dearest friends and they leave you. Diabolical work. Get the key back. It should not be used. Everything will vanish again. Well, at least he regrets it. Do you want to know unending pain like I have? Oh god. I don't remember this being so morbid. That is AZ. He has the same name as a king that lived 3,000 years ago. And for some unknown reason, he had the key to the ultimate weapon hung around his neck. It's finally time. Follow me to my chambers. Whoa. Not like that, big bro. So why is his name ZA? No, AZ. Which is the opposite of ZA. Curious fact. Did it just blow itself up? Okay, I guess it blew itself up. This guy just shows up. Okay, a long time ago, a very long time ago, the man made an ultimate weapon. Using it required the life force of many Pokemon. The Pokemon granted eternal life learned this. The resurrected eternal Pokemon left the man's side. The man was surprised and sad. He had revived it so that they could be together. Day after day passed, but they were never to meet. This video pissed me off. Eventually, he became a mere shell of a man condemned to wander forever by the light of the weapon. And a Pokemon that also wanders eternally. Where is it now? What do I have to do to meet it? Oh, it's so sad. Battle with me. Whoa. He's so tall. Oh my god, he's so fucking tall. Jesus. Oh god, it got even worse looking at it from this angle. I want to know what a trainer is. Man, dude, I didn't realize he was so... Is he that tall? Was he that tall in the Pokemon Zaza trailer? I swear to god, I don't remember him being such a giant. Get good, dude. He's still tall? Oh man, I gotta rewatch that because this guy's a monster. Thank you very much for battling with me. Now I finally feel free. Free from the part of me mired in sorrow, the part of me that built the ultimate weapon. He has such a cool design too. Huh? Oh, okay, so she just floats down? Out of nowhere? Oh my god, close up an eye, holy. It's the meme. Floette. It's been 3,000 years. That's actually so sad. Holy. Why do I feel like Pokemon games don't have like this level of like aura and like emotion? His Pokemon was waiting all this time. Waiting for him to return to the man he was. The man who loved Pokemon with all his heart. 3,000 years is bizarre. Because they need to put one out per year? No! But I feel I mean, don't get me wrong, like, there are some parts that are, like, really cool in, like, the recent Pokemon games. I'm not saying that they're all bad. I'm not saying that they're all, like, devoid of, like, passion and aura. But, like, I don't know, that scene felt like... This is emotional. Okay, why does it look like a turd in his fuck? Why does that look like a turd in his hand? A fucking blurred out turd. Straight up. I think Scarlet and Violet did regarding Arvin and his parents. Yeah, but I guess I mean more like the actual animation of it. And like the presentation. I mean, okay, if we're gonna talk about Scarlet and Violet, I think the only part of the game where I was like, wow, this presentation is like really cool is when they went to Area 0 and when they revealed that whole area and you fly down. That was really, really cool. And also the end boss was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. I just wish the whole game could feel like that. You know, not just the end. But, alright, okay, I guess that was it. I thought there was, like, more stuff to this. I don't know. I get what you mean. I didn't care much for this game, but the end to XY felt rewarding. I feel most Pokemon games are like that. The entire game is a slog until you get to the end and you're like, this is cinema. This is cinema. But, like, why can't the whole game have cool cutscenes like this? Like, they don't even have to be long, but, like, actually properly animated cutscenes. Not, like, a 3D model, like, step, look to the side. You know the... You know that one animation they all do? Where they do like the default lip flap and then move the hand and then I don't know how to explain this to you. But you know what I mean, right? The default talking animation that they use for everything, like the Genshin ass animations, I'm sick of it. Like, I get you can't have everything look beautiful, but like give me more of those like curated animated moments so like I can like immerse myself more. Anyway, that's like personal critique, okay? And you know, I care about animations. I really want an actually interesting plot. Okay, but the plot only happens at the very end. That's the thing! I feel like with most Pokemon games, it happens at the end. Not all of them. But at least I feel like that recently with Scarlet and Violet. And that felt really frustrating. Alright, so that's like all the lore stuff. I thought there would be more. Yeah, finally, I did want to look at the trailer for ZA here real quick, finally. This is a new trailer. I haven't even seen this. So this is like first time reaction for me, actually. Let's see.
Get ready for a citywide adventure in the world of Pokémon.
Oh, he is tall here too. So I guess this is Switch 2 footage.
Pokémon Legends ZA. Our story is set in the thriving metropolis of Lumio City, where an urban redevelopment plan is underway.
Okay, it's... Am I really gonna start hating? Am I really gonna start hating? I'm sorry. Loading my hater bullets in my hater gun.
Metropolis
okay.
of Lumio City,
it's literally like frame fucking one and I'm already bitching. Okay, I'm sorry. The textures on the wall drive me nuts. They drive me nuts because why can't this be like an actual railing like it was in the OG game? And also, why is there nobody in the street?
Urban redevelopment plan is underway.
You know the new Digimon game that came out? I was hating on Digimon, but I actually saw gameplay of what it looks like, and it looks populated. It looks fun. Like, this is like supposed to be based off of Paris. Like, there's a lot of people here.
To shape it into a place that belongs.
This looks like a desert town!
To both people and Pokemon.
And yeah, it looks
here,
flat.
You'll meet your partner Pokemon and set off on an adventure all your own. Wild zones can be found throughout Lumio City.
It's like, what the fuck is like I just have such a problem with like the concept in itself because why are we fighting Pokemon in like a city, dude?
These habitats were specially constructed.
What? Just let us go
Pokemon
like outside
to live comfortably.
Like, just go like outside,
Even
dude.
without having to
like,
battle, you can catch a wild Pokemon.
It just feels like an excuse to reuse assets. I don't know. I don't know. I'm being a hater McGee right now.
Might attack. When that happens, it's time to battle.
And
moves are assigned to the 4 face buttons.
I missed the cinematic camera.
After you use one, a move can be used again when it recharges.
And I like the, I'm really attached to the turn base.
Careful though, different moves recharge at different speeds, so consider which ones you want to use and when. Strategically planning out your next move
Somehow the animations still look basic as fuck.
is key. And keep an eye out for wild Pokemon that could overpower your team. If things are looking tough, it might make
Dude,
sense
okay, that
to
looks
run.
cool. But the actual movement of the Pokemon themselves, I feel looks so stiff.
Around town, you can relax with your Pokemon at cafes.
Oh, I was seeing memes about this.
Try
This
out
is
the
cute.
latest fashions, hairstyles, and makeup, and even have
Okay,
a
this
prompting
doesn't
photo
look that.
shoot at your favorite spot.
Actually, the character models don't look that bad. They don't look that. I'm not a fan of the style, but they don't look bad. I think they look good.
When night falls,
Nightfall.
trainers duke it out to climb the ranks of the
Oh,
ZA
that's right.
Royale tournament. If you're spotted, trainers will challenge
It's
you
literally
to a
on
Pokemon
site.
battle. Or you can sneak up on an unsuspecting opponent to try
Push
to
him
land a
off!
surprise
Sorry.
attack.
Can't say that.
Win enough battles, and you'll earn the right to challenge a tougher opponent in a promotion match. Everyone
I'm
starts
interested in
at
seeing how
rank
this
Z, with the goal of reaching the top rank.
how this turns out. That actually looks fun. That looks
This
fun.
is Hotel Z. It'll serve as your base of operations.
Oh, this is
and
pretty.
you'll meet some friendly faces here.
Oh, I love that character on the left. Cute.
Helping out
And
at
yeah, the music is
hotel
really nice.
either Urbane or Tawny. An aspiring dancer named Lita,
Lita's so.
and a young fashion designer, Naveen. Together, you'll form Team MZ in order to protect
Oh.
the city.
Oh, so I guess, bro, it's what I was saying before about having like a whole gang. I hope we get to learn like a lot about the characters and that they actually have interesting stories and that they're not like flat.
You'll also enlist the help of other folks.
Dude,
like
this guy's
Pokemon
fucking
Legends
massive.
ZA.
What- Dude, what caused him to be like this? Did the radiation from the super weapon just make him super sized?
And the top detective in town,
Holy.
Emma.
Sorry.
They'll lend a hand in tackling some strange incidents in the city.
No, actually, the character models actually look good. I know I was hating, but actually it looks good.
One of the cases you'll investigate is that wild Pokemon are mega evolving on their own and rampaging across Lumio City.
Does this mean that you can now Mega Evolve without a Mega Stone? Is that what we're saying?
Together with your allies on Team MZ, you'll take on these rogue mega evolved Pokemon.
And they're bringing like the raids back.
Your best bet against these formidable foes is to strengthen your bonds with your Pokemon and unleash mega evolutions of your own.
No, but you can Mega Evolve multiple times in battle. Oh, that's
Have
cool.
what it takes to pacify the rogue mega evolved Pokemon.
Oh, this is
What's
gonna.
the mysterious cause?
This is a personal thing. This shit is gonna piss me off. Okay, I like Pokemon because it's turn based, so this is gonna piss me off so bad. I'm gonna hate doing this.
You can battle with up to 3 other trainers by connecting either
Customization
locally
looks so
or
cute.
online. Gather your team and see who can take down the most Pokemon within the time limit.
You can now gang up on people.
Show off your
Holy.
trainer chops by using all the moves and mega evolutions at your disposal.
Nah, if they're gonna really do it like this, let me hit the trainer. Let me hit the trainer. I don't want to hit the Pokemon. If you're really gonna have them out in the open, let my Pokemon attack the trainer. Just saying. Otherwise, keep that shit turn-based. I don't give a fuck because, like, I'm sorry, but like, how is the trainer not getting hit? It doesn't make sense. I stand by that. You get to steal kills in Pokemon. This is gonna make me so mad. Dude. Sorry, you know what this just reminded me of? Make the camera angle top down. This is just playing Final Fantasy XIV. I said what I said. Because why did the boulders remind me of that one Titan fight,
Across
Final Fantasy
Lumio
14?
City is about to begin.
Oh, this is cute on the
Pokémon
rooftop.
Legends ZA.
Okay.
Available October.
Okay. All right. I'm taking the hater bullets out of the hater gun a little bit. Just a little bit. I have my complaints. I'm skeptical, but if the story's good and they bring back, dude, imagine if you could have flown around the fucking city, dude. That would have been so cool. I see what they're trying to go for here. And with the Switch 2 footage, it actually looks really nice. If it runs good, I will be okay with this. I will be okay with this, I think. But not being turn-based is gonna
16th,
fuck me
only
up so
on the
bad.
Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo
I'm always skeptical
Switch
with anything
systems.
Nintendo nowadays. No, because me too.
With enhanced resolution and frame rates on Switch 2, you can enjoy a more visually robust and immersive adventure.
I do like, okay, this is just me being like a little pain in the butt. But I do wish stuff like the grass, for example, or the ground, the thing you see the most, I wish it had better textures. Because, I mean, I guess it can't get worse than Scarlet and Violet textures, honestly. Like, this is kind of a step up, but if it's just gonna be like the city everywhere, you'd think they do a better job with that, right? Like, it's just empty, it's just a very empty looking street. That's the one complaint that I got.
The Nintendo Switch 2 edition of the game can be
Too much
played on a
concrete,
Switch
4 out of
2.
10. Exactly.
Please be sure to purchase the game edition that matches your system. Plus, Nintendo Switch 2 players who have Pokémon Legends ZA on Nintendo Switch can upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition by purchasing the upgrade
Did they ever talk about what's gonna be in the DLC? Well, that's it. All she wrote, I guess. What are the comments? I can't believe the Switch 2 edition can be played on the Switch 2, you fucking sarcastic assholes. Thriving Metropolis cuts to empty streets filled with mirror image flat buildings and a few sparse streets. That being the second top comment on the official fucking trailer is grim. Oh, that is grim. If the city is the only area in Kalos we can enter, you'd think they'd at least let us explore more inside the buildings. Oh, fuck it. Kill him. Not gonna lie, the textures of the game look like it was from 20 years ago. Dude, oh my god. This would have slapped in 2007. Oh, I think I did find my people. Because this is literally my thoughts exactly. Dude, getting torn, the official fucking trailer, tearing them apart. And I mean, I know Pokemon fans are haters, but it's like, fuck. For the full experience, this game alone costs 5 silk songs. City without people, and yeah, it will still sell 10 million copies. Thriving city, but I don't see McDonald's anywhere. Shut the fuck up. Citywide adventure isn't really a flex since it's usually a region-wide. Looks like a free mobile game from 2020. How can Nintendo make like 10 trailers and the game still feels and looks like there's nothing to it? Really talented. Dude, I'm fucking cringing. I'm cringing so bad. Get ready for a city. Stop! It's so bad. At least the shareholders are happy, right? Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, Nintendo, you gotta get it together, dude. For your fans to be this mad, I see more hate comments than comments actually excited about the game. Now that's just really sad. Oh, that's just really pitiful. I mean, I know the game's gonna be fun. I am very interested in seeing the final verdict though, because, you know, people could talk all they want, but when the game comes out, you know, people are gonna get actual hands-on experience, opinions are going to change. Where did all the budget go? On the freaking Pal World lawsuit? Apparently. It's so nice for Team Cherry to ground everything for games. People are comparing the price of everything to Silksong now. That's how it should be, because these companies are like price gouging like crazy. Back in the day, games used to cost $40, and that's when everything was physical, okay? They had to put money into shipping them out, the packaging, putting them in the actual cartridges. But even if you buy a game digitally, it is still the same price as the physical copy. On what planet does that make sense? No fucking planet. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it makes me scared. I hope they change, dude, because it's just... it's terrible. It's terrible. Oh man, it just sucks. Then I don't really know what to expect. Cause you'd think that they would just add in all the content that was cut out into this game, but I don't know. It would have been cool if they added flying in this game and like actually, I don't know. It would have been nice if they let us explore like some of the old areas and like remade stuff, but it's all in the city. I mean, I'd rather them do a city environment than do a whole region if they don't feel confident that they can do it. Because when you look at Scarlet and Violet, all of the issues that they had, I'd rather them keep it to a smaller scale if they feel confident they can't do it. But also, it's like one of the biggest franchises in the world. Why can't they? Why do they insist on staying in-house for Game Freak? No, Game Freak actually made another fucking game that looked phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah, I think this is the one. Look at this shit. Yeah, tell me Game Freak can't make any fucking games. Huh? Huh? So they can make good looking games, but they just don't for some reason. Makes you wonder why. And obviously, you know, Pokemon is not like a realistic game, you know, so you can't like say like, oh, why can't Pokemon look like this? But you know, like the textures, you know it's a problem, you know. I think a big problem with Pokemon is they're married to this aggressive release schedule. It's true, and I think they should take more time with the games to make something that's actually quality. They know how to make stuff that looks better than what they put out for Pokemon. So why don't they improve Pokemon? Unironically, this game was so actually, I don't think I ever watched the full trailer for this. Oh, it's a bit loud. This looks really fun, actually. Am I gonna buy this? Yeah, this is made by Game Freak. Are the frames dropping in the trailer? Dude, okay, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Frames, like, games don't care about quality, or companies don't care about quality anymore. You're gonna see that in a lot of games. I don't think that's just Game Freak issue. A lot of games, companies do not give a fuck about how the game runs. So it's just, it is what it is, unfortunately. I forgot Game Freak isn't owned by Nintendo until this. When Game Freak finally realized they have free will. This new Pokemon looks incredible. Can't wait to see the box legendary. Game Freak coming out here like, today I will remind them. Game Freak had to make it clear they're not the problem. Yep. That's pretty much it. Yeah, no, this looks good. It's Nintendo. Stop being weird, Nintendo. Stop it. Make a good freaking game. Make a good freaking game. Please subscribe. Please, please. Thank you.